Pathmonk is the intelligent tool for website lead generation. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in their buying journey separates you from the competition online. Pathmonk qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with the relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50%. Add Pathmonk to your website in seconds. Let the AI do all the work and get access to 50% more qualified leads while you keep doing marketing and sales as usual. Check us on pathmonk.com. Welcome to today's episode. Let's talk about today's guest. We have Brandon Rhoten from GroundTruth, Chief Marketing Officer with them. How are you doing today, Brandon?
Doing awesome. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you on today's show. And Brandon, I'm sure our listeners are tuning in, wondering what GroundTruth is all about. So let's kick it off with that. In your own words, tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, so GroundTruth is a media platform that is built to drive traffic. So real business results like people to show up to a retail or restaurant location.
Okay, perfect. And so that way, then our listeners could get a good understanding there of GroundTruth. What would you say is that key problem that you guys like to solve for clients?
Yeah, the main issue that people come to us with is I've got a marketing plan, I've got a media plan. I don't know if it's actually driving business. I don't know if people are showing up to my retail or my restaurant location because of my media. So they add our technology in, they add our media in, and all of a sudden they have a clear line of sight into what's working and what's not. And they're buying media through the same source that's helping them understand what's working. So it becomes kind of a one-stop shop to get to foot traffic for your restaurant or retail location.
Perfect. Okay. So then don't want to assume here, but then so is there a certain vertical segment? Is there an ideal ICP there for GroundTruth?
Yeah, mostly people with physical locations, brick and mortar locations. We can do other things, but at the end of the day, what we're really good at is if you've got a physical locations where 80+% of all retail transactions still occur, we're the media partner that can help you get people to show up.
Definitely important. Okay, awesome. Great to hear that. And how would then somebody then usually find out about GroundTruth? Is there a top client acquisition channel for you guys?
Yeah, we use LinkedIn pretty heavily. We have a sales team that's out there kind of hitting the pavement, talking about GroundTruth. And we run advertising through folks like Ad Age, Adweek, stuff like that to talk about, our positioning and what ultimately we bring to the market. So mostly traditional media executions that are out in the world, but also our sales force.
That's really important. Okay. And on that note, then that way our listeners who are tuned in could go ahead and visit you. They could always check you guys out at groundtruth.com. What role does a website then play for client acquisition?
Yeah, so most B2B relationships, especially media relationships, you got to do your homework before you decide you actually want to spend time with the company. So our website helps potential clients understand whether or not they want to work with us, and lets them look at things like case studies, examples that give them confidence that we're the real deal, that we're not just making a promise and not holding up our end of the deal.
Definitely. Okay, love to hear that. And on that note then, is there any tools or tips or methods that you would recommend to our listeners as far as some website lead generation?
Yeah, so I think you got to start with a good funnel to bring people in. So you need to ensure that you're actually attracting the right target to your assets, be it website, social, whatever it is. I think when they get there, you have to tell your story very cleanly and very clearly. It's really easy to land, especially on a B2B or a media platform website, and not know what the heck they actually do, what they sell. So I think you have to tell your story very clearly, and I think you have to make it very obvious how you reach out. There's a lot more to it than that, but we have found that you have those three components in place, your conversion looks pretty strong.
Awesome. Some great insight there for our listeners. And let's switch gears then a little bit, Brandon, and let's talk about you as a leader. You being the CMO there for GroundTruth, what are some key tasks you like to focus on your day-to-day work?
Yeah, so a lot of my day is figuring out where to put the brand in the right spot to efficiently gain leads and attract people to want to talk to us as a brand. Beyond that, kind of the second component of my job is when we do have a connection with a client, having conversations about what that relationship will look like, about ultimately how we could serve them appropriately and support the sales teams to actually get the business and hold the business by making the product solid. So I would say there's an acquisition component, there's a conversion component, and then finally there's a product component. I'm a marketer myself. I've been a CMO for, the better part of 15 years, spent billions of dollars in media. So assisting in product development to understand what marketers actually want is a big part of my role as well.
Definitely. Okay, awesome. Great to hear that from you. And well, how do you like to stay up to date then with all the news in the marketing world as far as trends, strategies? Is there a preferred channel that you like to go with?
Yeah, I think there's some great publications out there. Ad Age, Adweek, Forbes does a great series of tech and media reviews. So I think there's some good publications. But fortunately, I've got a lot of friends that are CMOs or CEOs of companies in the tech space, and basically following them on their social networks keeps me pretty well up to date, because they're always talking about the cool new stuff and what's working and what's not. And obviously through GroundTruth, we experiment with a lot of tools and work with a lot of clients that are working with a lot of tools. So just hearing what they're actually using to make their business grow is very helpful to understand what's working in the market.
Definitely. I think that's one of the greatest tools, right? Because first kind experience. So awesome that you have those connections. And well, then let's jump into our next section then here, Brandon, which is our rapid fire question rounds. Are you ready for them?
Ready. Let's hit it.
All right. First off then, Brandon, what is the last book that you read?
Last book was Sapiens, about the development of Homo sapiens. It's a pretty good read if you haven't checked it out.
Okay, perfect. Great read there for our listeners. Next up then is, what is one single thing that the company is focused on at the moment the most?
It's really getting all the aspects of the product right. We've got a big media platform, but ultimately we need to offer a more focused and driven product that gets to that foot traffic. So it's getting the product right is our biggest focus right now, working with our biggest clients to do so.
Okay, great. Love that. Next up then is, if there would be no boundaries in technology, what would be that one thing that you want to have fixed for your role as a marketer today?
Yeah, clarity in return on investment. Everyone takes credit for everything, and you have 20 tools that you plug in to try to figure out what's working and what's not. But at the end of the day, clarity on return is really important, and I don't think there's a whole lot out there that helps simplify that.
Definitely. I mean, you spending $15 billion in marketing over your years. Definitely, you got to need some clarity. So definitely some great importance there. Next up then is, if there's one repetitive task that you could automate, what would that be?
Yeah, it would probably be HR functions. Meaning like checking in on employees and all that. I love talking to my people. I love, the connections. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of paperwork that comes with having a big team and having a lot of layers in your company. And, I want to build the company and I want to drive the business. So anything that automates HR is a buddy of mine.
Definitely. Okay, great. And well, lastly, I mean, Brandon, no doubt you have the experience in the marketing world, but what would be that one piece of advice that you would give yourself if you were to restart your journey as a marketer today?
Yeah, it's don't be afraid to take risks. I think a lot of marketers play it very safe. A lot of marketers just want to sort of maintain rather than grow their brand. They look at risk as a scary thing. The brands that get attention, the brands that grow are the ones that do take risks. They're calculated risks. You understand what you're risking when you risk something, when you're going to be bold as a brand, or you're going to run a medium you've never run before, or you're going to, agree to a sponsorship or whatever that move is. But at the end of the day, safety very rarely results in good marketing.
Definitely. Okay, awesome. Great to hear that from you, those insights for our listeners. And well, we are coming to the end of our show today here, Brandon. But before we do end, I do want to give you the last word. Say someone forgets everything about the interview today, what is that one thing they should remember about GroundTruth?
Yeah, work with a media partner that actually drives real business results. Get something like foot traffic out of your buy so you can invest more in marketing and feel confident that it's driving the business. And that's what GroundTruth does.
Well, there you guys heard it. You could always check them out at groundtruth.com. Thank you so much, Brandon, for being on with us today. And to our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. And I'm looking forward to our next episode at Pathmonk Presents. Thanks a lot, Brandon.
Thanks for having me.